Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Pat's Travel Pass. We're glad to have you here, and we will be covering Southwest Companion Pass and how to get it, what's involved, and a little loophole of how to make it really easy for anyone to be able to qualify for it. Come join us. A couple housekeeping items. We are talking about Southwest, one of the U.S. low-cost carriers. I think they're the best in the business just because you get the 2 free checked bags and some open seating, at least for now. We'll see how that changes when they roll out having to select a seat in the future. But we're going to look at how you can bring your friends and family for free moving forward. So what exactly is Southwest's Companion Pass? It is a way for you to purchase a ticket, the Companion Pass holder, and then bring a friend or family member, really anyone that you designate as your companion, along for free minus the taxes and fees. Now, as you can see here, the companion will purchase their ticket whether it's through points, key there, points, or cash, and then you can just add on your companion that's selected for the cost of the taxes and fees. So in the end, you would be paying, let's say, $100 for your ticket and then $5.60 for your friend, but you're getting 2 airfare tickets for essentially the price of 1. Now, the way that you can qualify for the Companion Pass is either 100 qualifying flights, so basically a round trip per week, which is quite a lot, or 135,000 qualifying points. Now that's key there because 100 flights in a year is a lot for anyone. I'm sure there are top execs that say, that's pretty easy. But we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the 135,000 qualifying points and show you how you can get that many points and really extend that Companion Pass, not only for a year, because that's how long you qualify for, but we're going to extend it for almost 2 years, and we're going to show you how. So 135,000 qualifying points. Let's start with a personal credit card. Currently, they offer 40,000 points and a $400 statement credit. While this is abnormal, I'd say, typically you can get 50 or 60,000 points for this card without the $400 cash, and that does make it easier to hit the 135,000 points, but you'd have to wait until after December 16th, which is when this $40,000 and $400 offer ends. Now, that's the first step, is to get the personal card. You can only get the sign-up bonus if you haven't gotten it in the past 2 years or are actively holding the card. And you can pick either one of these, the Plus or the Priority. It kind of depends on if you like upgraded boardings or if you want early bird check-ins more. That seems to be the difference, as well as, extra spending on Southwest categories and a higher annual fee. Now, the second card we're going to identify is a business credit card. Now, only if you are able to qualify for it. That might take a little bit more research, but you'd be surprised how many people can qualify for this if you have a business where you're attempting to make income. I would definitely look into it and see if it applies to your case, because being able to access business credit cards will really ramp up your point game. There are a lot of great offers out there, mainly the Chase Ink cards, but for this scenario, yes, you will need a business card, so you will have to qualify for this. Annual fee is a little bit higher, but you do get 80,000 points for the minimum spend, which is 5,000 for this card in the standard 3 months, I believe. And for the other one, it was 3,000 spend. So pretty modest on the spend, nothing too crazy like the Amex cards that we see with $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. But okay, let's recap. We have gotten 40,000 points on the personal card, 80,000 points on the business card. That's 120,000 plus our spend, which would have been 8,000 total between the two cards. So assuming 1 point per dollar spent, we're at 128,000 qualifying points out of the 135. So we just need another $7,000 of spend on those cards after getting the bonus. Doesn't have to be in that same sign-up bonus time period. And then we will reach the 135,000 tier qualifying points. Now here's the kicker of how to get it for more than 1 year. Southwest will give you the companion pass for the remainder of the year you qualify. So if you were to get it in January or February of this next year, 2025, you would actually keep it the whole rest of that calendar year and for your qualified year of 2026, which would be basically 2 full years for the companion pass instead of just 1. And since you can get the sign-up bonus every 2 years on these cards, you essentially could have an unlimited companion pass with some months of gap, I'm sure. And if you have a player 2 to help you out, then you could alternate every 2 years who's getting it and ultimately have a unlimited companion pass. Now the beauty is that we just did all the spend on these cards and have 135,000 points to spend. And we can keep those points. Like, you're not paying 135,000 points for the companion pass. You get the companion pass and keep all those points to use on our flights. So now we're looking at an example Dallas to Midway flight. Cash price $219. Points will be around 15,000 since Southwest has a very rigid redemption rate of 1.3 to 1.4 cents per point. So you can see here, 15,000. This is just for one person, right? This is the person that earned the companion pass. And so let's pause right here. So by taking the cash price that we would have paid, and you can pay it, $219, we're then going to subtract out the taxes and fees because we're going to have to pay that anyways on an award ticket. We're then going to divide it by the amount of points that flight cost. Now what we're doing is we're figuring out the actual cost of the ticket minus the $5.60 that we would have to pay, and then dividing it by the cost of the points. And this gives us a redemption value, or how many cents per point we're getting in value. And like I mentioned, Southwest is pretty rigid in their 1.3 to 1.4. We happen to fall right in the middle here. You will see it fluctuate a little bit, but it'll always be in that range of 1.3 to 1.4, which I guess is good because you always know that you're going to get more than 1 cent per point with your Southwest points, which is kind of nice to have, because with all these other programs that are not tied to the cash value and are flexible or variable, you're constantly having to do this calculation to see what kind of value are you getting. Now that calculation is for an individual. Now let's look at what it actually would cost for 2 people. So I took the $219, multiplied it by 2, so $438 is how much we would pay for 2 people to go on this flight. We're then going to subtract out the taxes and fees, which is the $5.60 times 2 for 2 people, but we're only going to divide it by the cost of the single companion pass holder's point cost. So out of their $135,000 point stash, they're going to use $15,700, and they're going to pay $11.20 for the companion and the companion pass holder. That then gets us 2.7 cents per point compared to if you were to pay cash, because we're getting that whole second flight free, which is excellent value for your Southwest points and points in general, especially for economy. Now here's a summary of the companion pass points required, plus all the items that add up to it. I did show the 128 again, how we're 7,000 points short. The 2 options would be to spend another 7,000, or like I mentioned, wait for that more traditional 50 to 60,000 on the personal card, and that will clean up the deficit right away. Now let's talk about timing. In order to get 2 years out of this, we need all 135,000 of these points to show up on our account in January at the earliest. So let's back it up. Both cards require 3 months timing. So that means at the earliest, you would open the business card, which is preferred based on my research. You're more likely to get approved for both. If you apply for the business card October 15th, of the previous year. You then have to hit your sign-up bonus by January 15th. But then you would sign up for the personal card November 15th, a month later. Make sure it's a month because we don't want to get denied for card velocity. Chase won't like that you're opening too many cards too quick, so we're going to give it a month. We're then going to spend on both cards without hitting the sign-up bonus limit. So we're going to bring it to about $100 left on the personal and the business. And then once it hits January 1st, guns a-blazing, go for it. Hit both those sign-up bonuses as fast as possible after January 1st. And then once they both clear, those points will all post, and then you're good to go. You'll get all those points, and we can move forward with booking flights. One note to add is that the same person needs to open the two cards. You cannot do one person for one and one person for the other. It won't count as 135 for one person. Also, please do not hit the sign-up bonus in December if you're trying to go for January, because these points for one of those cards that you accidentally hit the sign-up bonus on too early will post in this calendar year, 2024, but then the rest of your points will post in 2025, and now we just have 135,000 points with no companion pass because we got 50,000 points last year and 80,000 points this year, so be very careful on that. Okay, let's look at the summary here that I put together. We have our two cards, business and personal, with the annual fees, as well as the current offer, how much we're going to spend to hit that offer, and then the cents per point that we calculated, assuming all of these points will be used for companion pass flights. That gives us a total of $3,600 for the price of 2 annual fees, which is spectacular. That total value column does have the annual fees getting subtracted out already, so that is after the 2 expenses. But that is how you get Southwest's Companion Pass for 2 years using just 2 cards. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.